Hello, this is Joanne Victoria with another edition of the Sanity Project podcast, the place for IT professionals whose work-life balance plan has imploded. We are here to provide solutions that will help the IT pro live a sane life. Today's guest is Coach Allison. Coach Allison is a certified health and lifestyle coach, a best-selling author of Coach Allison's Guide to Life, Work Balance, and Burnout Prevention, when your lifestyle demands more than what's humanly possible. She is also a professional speaker and a TV co-host on The Total Woman on Internet TV. Coach Allison's motto is, "It's life work, not work life." Coach Allison helps busy professionals to stop the insanity and join the human race again. She coaches them to take better care of themselves so they can get more done in less time. After crazy busy corporate life in the fast lane for about 20 years, Coach Allison was diagnosed with an aggressive breast cancer at age 43. In her deathbed reflections, she realized that she had been living below the privileges that were rightfully hers. She vowed that when she was done being sick, not if, but when, her life would be different. So after the medical treatments, Coach Allison returned to school to study holistic health and was certified to become a health coach and a lifestyle coach. Coach Allison offers coaching to organizations and individuals both in person and remotely. And welcome, Coach Allison.
Oh, thank you. Great to be here.
I'm glad that you're here. It seems we are certainly in alignment about bringing sanity back to the universe.
That's right. Stop the insanity.
Totally stop the insanity. So Tell me a little bit about, we don't want to dwell too much, but how you turned your life around when you were healing from the aggressive breast cancer treatments at age 43.
Yeah, well, at that time, I had no idea how to be healthy. I thought the crazy busy lifestyle of work, working 100-hour weeks and getting dinners out of vending machines, I thought that was just normal. And I did not know any other way to really live my life. That was the only life I knew. And when that proved to be very unhealthy for me, and I ended up with this deadly disease, I figured that I had to find out how to be healthy. And I was very, very sick for a couple of moments when I thought I was seriously done. But I came back from that and I, started school, going back to school and learning more about health and taking care of myself and figuring out how I got sick, because I really had no idea how sick I was becoming. And I thought I was healthy, seriously, and I was running marathons. I was very fit, and I ate well. I didn't sleep much, though. I was stressed out a lot. And I think those are the things that really seriously made me sick in the end. But I needed to know why so that I could avoid going through this suffering again, because many people have multiple cancers, and I really wanted to avoid that. So I started learning more about it, and it started making more sense. And now that is how I live and how I help other people to make those shifts, because we live in a culture that is very, very toxic and loud, and we have forgotten how to care for ourselves. So it's a very important mission that I have. I understand it to be my mission now, because, there's got to be a reason why my life was spared, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that when I read so many things what people say about what it takes to stay healthy, it's drinking good water, walking, simple walking, and sleep.
Yes.
We need to sleep, and without sleep, we become a very poor presentation of our true selves.
Yes, that's a very good point, because my health coaching practice centers around whole being approach, and that's the self-care model that I've developed. And whole being approach means emotionally, mentally, and physically. You need to take care of yourself. So when people think that, well, I go to the gym 5 days a week, so I'm fit and I'm healthy. But if they are stressed out at work, or their teenager is in rehab, or their marriage is falling apart, or whatever the issues may be, if they're mentally and emotionally suffering, you're not whole. You're not whole as a person. You're not well as a whole being. And same thing, if you're emotionally well, but if you don't work out, or if you have a sound judgment, but, emotionally you're suffering. I mean, you want to take care of yourself in those three areas: emotionally, mentally, and physically, because they're all connected. So when you talk about walking and water and sleeping, it's partly physical components and partly emotional and mental, because they're all combined. You need to connect the dots. They all combine to become parts of you. That's how you become your whole being and be well as a whole person.
Absolutely. I remember years ago, a long time ago, some famous runner whose name I can't remember, but he ran every day. He did what you spoke about a few minutes ago, and he dropped dead. And he was in his 40s. And I think when I look at people who die young from disease, or, well, it's always something, but when they die young, and I'll say under 50, and that's pretty good today, they live their life to extremes, either physically or emotionally or mentally.
Yeah.
They're not living, and I don't believe that we can live a balanced life at all, because if you look at the definition of balance, it means things are equal. But I think you are trying, what I hear you say is you are trying to help people make things more equal, so that they have the emotional covered, the physical, and the spiritual covered.
Yes, because you can't leave those things unaddressed. Because if you are, like an example that I would use would be, you're having dinner with the love of your life, and they break up with you over this dinner. No organic salad is going to be well at that moment, right? And
Absolutely.
So you want to address and make an effort, I guess. I mean, be conscientious about making an effort in those areas, because, I mean, I seriously was not even thinking about them. And I honestly did not know how. And, I mean, if I had coaching, the coaching that I do now, for me back then, I would have done a lot better.
Right.
But I just had no idea how to balance those things. And that's why I say it's life work, not work life. Because I lived that work-life pattern for many, many years, and it didn't work out so well for me. And so when I say life work, it's not about, having a life somewhere else so you can just, go and play and be a slacker at work. It's quite the contrary, actually. It's about taking care of yourself first so that you can be at your best in whatever you do and show up in your best self. So those things must be deliberate, because when you leave it to chance, and if you just kind of leave it alone, it will not happen. You can't just leave it to chance. You have to make it a deliberate effort to make it happen. Just like anything else in life, I guess. Yeah.
Prior to working with information technology professionals, IT pros, I worked with entrepreneurs and small business owners, and a lot of them were alternative health style doctors and their clinics that they had. And it was difficult to get people to believe that life comes before work, and you incorporate your work within your life, not the other way around. Because they thought that their work came first, but that's not the way it's ever been. I mean, I think the only time that work came first, and this is just supposition because I wasn't there, but when prehistoric man was on the earth, his work was getting food.
Yeah.
For survival, that was the work, but that was for them. That was for the family and the community that they created. So it was still life first and work second. And I think if you can get this mantra, this this thing going with, it's life work, not work life, it can only benefit millions of people out there.
Yes.
If they will
absolutely.
only believe it.
Because I worked very hard. I used to work hard and play hard. And I did very well in my corporate career. I moved up fast and I made a good living. But my story is that none of that mattered. I'm telling you, I've been on my deathbed. None of that really matters. None of that matters when it comes down to you and yourself alone. And when I wondered, when in my reflective moments, when I would ask my questions about my life, and it's like, well, how would I rate that experience?
Right. And
okay, I shouldn't say, well, none of that matters. Well, work does matter. If you have to make a living, you have to pay your bills. That's how you live. And yeah, it does matter on that level. But for me, I realized finally that there was so much more to my life than just because
you had more to contribute.
Yeah, as myself, because I have always considered myself as a giver. And one of the questions that I wondered about was, did I really get to give as much as I could have? And I did. I gave a lot and I got to accomplish many great things. However, there was more to it than that. There should have been, I thought, and I have no regrets. But now that I am still here, I truly want to share that message because I have a story. And anyone who had known me before I had cancer, and then during cancer, and then now afterwards, it was pretty intense. And I think for a wake-up call like that, it can really make you reevaluate your life. But many people don't make it out alive, of that experience. And I'm one of the lucky ones who made it through. And there were people who thought that I would have made a different news headline instead of just a cancer diagnosis.
Right.
There was a college friend of mine we had not kept in touch really, but maybe holiday greetings once a year. That was really about it. Mm-hmm. And when I made the announcement, I guess, because the word got around that I had cancer, he wrote back to me and said, actually, I thought that the headline that I would hear with you in it next time would be like a cover of a Forbes magazine or something. I never realized that it would be cancer. And so cover of the Forbes magazine, well, that would have been pretty cool in so many levels. But when you have a wake-up call like cancer, at that moment, your thinking changes a little bit. Your perception changes because what does it really matter to you if you're not there to enjoy what you've worked for,
I totally understand. I think you still have time for that Forbes cover.
Yeah, that's true.
And I totally align with what you said a few minutes ago about wanting to be sure that you gave the information and that you had to as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. And that's been going through my head. It's like, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? Because, you all of a sudden, as one gets older, going back and looking, holy cow, I've got more to do.
Yeah.
And I want to be pardon?
Yes.
Yeah,
it does happen. But for me, one thing that really keeps me in line is that, I truly have to walk the talk.
Yes.
Life-work balance. For me, because after a very, very aggressive cancer and cancer treatments, like the things that I had, my stamina is not the same. It really is not. And I really need to allow myself a lot of downtime, a lot of rest. I cannot push myself like I used to. And so I truly have to manage my boundaries and my expectations. And so, yeah, I think that's helped me focus better because I need to get more done in shorter amount of time. And people ask me this all the time, you're a business owner now. So how is that different from working corporate, corporate senior managers and how do you do all these different things? Because I write, I have a TV show and I have all my products that I'm still developing all the time. And there are many different projects going on simultaneously. And the way to do that is to truly balance, and make it a deliberate effort to create that balance. And that's it. So feed your body good nutrition. Truly a fuel that your body needs, not just junk that I used to eat sometimes. And, and it's helped me tremendously because I have to truly walk the talk.
Especially today as far as the food goes, because most of it is pretty bad out there, and you have to be very deliberate. As you're talking about being deliberate with your tasks and your time and creating boundaries, number one, I don't think many people have boundaries. They just roll over from one thing to the next, and they certainly don't prioritize. But when you're in a situation such as you are, where your stamina is less than it was when you were running around as a executive in the corporate world, you have to choose what you do and choose it well so that you take what I call your high values and just do those.
Yeah.
And then rest. You have to rest. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, no. And none of us are getting any younger.
No, unfortunately, that's the only thing we cannot change, but the only way we can help and benefit ourselves is to eat properly and not succumb to chemicals in food and fast food. And those are two bad things. I know chemicals, once in a while I'll eat something that I say, oh, I didn't read all the label, or it's something that I shouldn't be eating to begin with. And it's the chemicals that bother me more than the normal ingredients, if you want to call it that.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because in busy life in the fast lane, and especially for IT professionals who are always under the gun, right?
Absolutely.
It's so easy to just reach out for anything that's available, anything that's free, or anything that's quick and convenient. Or if somebody brings a box of donuts to the office, you just grab that, and that's
I've heard those stories, yes.
I used to live that, and I'm telling you, the story that I tell about my, my cancer and what I've learned from that, it's real. It can happen to people who just kind of let go of their self-care. So I don't mean to, threaten with that story or scare anybody else, but that's the truth. When you
scare them. They need to be scared. When you're young, you think you will live forever. And I think that a little bit of scaring with wisdom behind it makes a great deal of sense. And you're not really scaring them. You're just telling them the truth as you see it based on your own personal experiences. And that's all we've got. Yes, it is. Because, I love, my first nature is to just push. I love that intensity. That was my rush, that I would get. And there was a lot of stress. There was a lot of burnouts too, but I kept going. And many days I had, nothing left in my reserves, but I was like, well, I worked hard today. That was a good day, but what about some joy, having joy in life and giving to other people as just human to human, giving and taking and sharing of myself. That's what I do now with my story. And so, but when people say, well, that's too bad that happened to her. It's like, it's their fear, I think, that detaches them.
Yeah, it's like, well, I hope they get more out of that story.
Well, I think that's where a little compassion comes in.
Yeah.
I know you have it. I can hear it, and you are concerned with people, and that's, we're in my point of view was that we are here to be of service, period. And however that manifests itself, you had to suffer more than many people do to come out the other side, at least another side, to decide you wanted to help people. And I think that's amazing. So what do you think has been a lesson that has stuck with you?
My lesson that has stuck with me. Wow. So many. So many. But one that I can share is that I need to, in order for me to really trim down all the stuff that doesn't help me to focus on the things that I need to get done in the short amount of time that I have now in each day, is to simplify. De-junk and simplify. That's the phrase that I always use. And actually, that's a chapter in my book, too. De-junk and simplify. So you get rid of all the junk that do not serve you. So recently, I had some people take a survey on stress issues, and the things that cause the insanity in their lives. And when I asked them, how many hours of self-care do you do throughout the day, and includes sleep in the number of hours, right? 72% of the people said less than 4 hours.
Oh.
And that includes sleep. 72%. And then another question was, how many hours do you spend a day on social media? Like Facebook, Twitter, and whatever. Average, 2.5 hours a day.
Oh, my.
So that tells me. So, I mean, there can be many reasons. Maybe they just can't sleep. And so they would rather, they lie in bed and then they look up Facebook on their phone. I mean, there can be many different situations. But I want to share that lesson. You do really need to de-junk and simplify so you can focus. And when people say, I'm so busy, I don't have time to whatever. I don't have time to go to my son's game, or I don't have time to eat. I don't have time to practice a ball game, whatever, go to the gym. Or when you say you have time, you have the time. There are 24 hours. You probably have time. But what you want to really focus is just manage your tasks. That's all it is, And it's not a matter of time. You just want to simplify and keep the things that are serving you to live a good life, and then get rid of the junk.
It's always a choice. It's always a choice. Yeah, everybody gets to make choices. You do, I do, and everybody else does. They don't realize it. And one of my guests had spoken about once you turn on a light in your bedroom, it attacks the pineal gland and awakens up your brain. Yes. And that takes a long time to get back to sleep, like 20 minutes or something. Yes. But once you turn on your phone or some other device, that takes much longer because the blue light, it invades your pineal gland even further than the bright light from a light bulb. Mm-hmm. So it's not something that is healthy. People should not look at their phone at all when they wake up in the middle of the night. But who am I to tell them? Anyway, Coach Allison's website is healthcoachallison.com. That's health, Health, Coach, COACH, Allison, ILLISON.
ALL.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say whatever I said? ALLISON.com. Healthcoachallison.com. Mm-hmm. And her Twitter handle is @HealthyAllison, ALLISON. And everybody be sure and go to her website, check out her Coach Allison's Guide to Life Work Balance and Burnout Prevention. And also, I understand that you're offering our listeners a free gift. What is that?
Yes, I have a free gift, a free report called 3 Best Tips for Life Work Balance, Secrets Implemented by the Most Successful People. go to my website, healthcoachallison.com, and then you can either go to the free gift menu on the hair menu, or there's a screen that'll pop up, and you can sign up too. So, yeah.
Do you have anything else to share in your final words?
Well, something that I've always noticed, especially in my corporate world experience, working with IT, is that they've always helped me tremendously. I used to buy them.
I'm sorry, you got lost in there. Can you repeat that?
Okay. So in my corporate experience, I've depended heavily on IT staff. And because when I needed IT, anybody from IT department, I needed it immediately. I needed the solutions immediately. And I understand the IT tasks throughout the day for the staff would be like everything is an emergency for them. When people come to them, everything is an emergency, right?
Yes.
And so I do understand the tremendous stress that would accumulate and dealing with people who are stressed. Who are panicking when they come to them and say, "Oh, what happened? Did I lose this?" Or "Oh, what happened here?" One thing that I really want to mention to the IT pros out there that I'm so grateful for is that you really want to manage your multitasking. Usually I tell people multitasking, but I really impossible for IT pros. So when I say manage multitasking, sometimes when they need to take a break from the task is to take care of the task that is a little more urgent, or to answer to somebody else, or somebody higher up.
Okay, you're getting lost there. So let's tell what do the IT people need to know about multitasking?
Oh, okay, sorry. You need to manage your multitasking. But when you have multitask going on at the same time, each task is a distraction to another task.
Yes.
And that can cause tremendous burnouts very, very fast. So mentally, intellectually, it's a very taxing thing, a pattern to go through every day. And I know that IT pros go through that all the time. So you really want to be conscientious about managing your multitasking and the distractor factors. So do not just become available to anything that comes quickly or immediately or, whatever that comes up at that moment. But stay on task if you can, and take a deep breath before you go on to the next task and ask yourself, can this wait? And no matter what other people say, you can make that choice for yourself. You need to really manage that distractors, because multitasking really can really drain your energy. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
HealthCoachAllison.com. Coach Allison has provided all of you listeners with many, 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 many ways to live a sane life, rejoin the human race, and be available to your coworkers, friends, and family. Be sure and go to her healthcoachallison.com website, download her free gift to you, and we are grateful for that. It's a report. It is called The 3 Best Tips for Life-Work Balance, Secrets Implemented by the Most Successful People. You will get the free download on her website, Health Coach Allison. Allison, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate it, and I know our listeners do as well. I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sanity Project podcast. Please go to AskJoanneVictoria.com and continue the conversation on my podcast page. And get a free copy of my book, The True Self Handbook, a guide to transform your life. That's AskJoanneVictoria.com. Take care, and thanks for being here.